Alright, so we're here at the top of page 2 in 10.2. Again, this is a bonus problem set. It's not required. It can be worth up to 2 points for your problem sets. Really helps if you've missed one or had a couple of late ones during the term. This will help bring that back up for you. So, looking at number 28, what's different about this one? Well, it has an a value sitting out front. That is not going to be very helpful. That's going to get in the way when we try to make a perfect square trinomial. So we need that a value out of the way. Can't just get rid of it, so we're going to divide all the terms by a. What does that look like? Well, we're going to divide the 2x squared by the a value of 2, the minus 4x by 2, the minus 2 by 2, and the 0 by 2. And what that leaves behind is the 2's cancel. That was the point. X squared. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And that's equal to 0 divided by 2 is still 0. And then our goal is to get the x squared piece and the x piece on one side, everything else on the other. So we're going to add 1 to both sides to do that, giving us x squared minus 2x equals 1. And now we can take that b value of negative 2, we're going to cut it in half, so negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. We're going to highlight that because we're going to be able to use it later. That's the factored form, that's the factor version of it. And then we're going to take that b over 2 value and square it. So in this case we're going to take negative 1 and square it. That gives us a positive 1 because negative 1 times negative 1 equals positive 1. And then we're going to turn around and add that in to both sides. So we're going to add it here on the left, add it here on the right. And what that looks like then is x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 1 plus 1, or 2, which we'll write in the next version. Now what we've created here is a perfect square trinomial. X squared minus 2x plus 1 can be factored into exactly matching factors, x minus 1 and x minus 1. And I don't even have to try to factor it because I highlighted for myself back here, the negative 1, what those factors would be, minus 1 and minus 1. And that's equal to our 1 plus 1 equals 2. So what we have is we have a perfect square trinomial that can be written as x minus 1 squared, because that's what it means to have something times itself. That means it's squared, equal to 2. And then we can solve this using the square root property. When you have a something squared, even that something is big, a binomial, 2 pieces, you can take the plus or minus square root of both sides. So we've got the x minus 1 quantity squared is equal to 2, and now we're going to take the plus or minus square root of both sides. And the plus or minus square root does its job of getting rid of the squared piece, leaving behind just the plain x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus radical 2. Solving for x, just add 1 to both sides. You get x equals positive 1 plus or minus the radical 2. There's your 2 solutions, 1 plus radical 2 and 1 minus radical 2. And that is using completing the square to solve a quadratic. Now here's the whole point of section 10.2. Sorry, you can't see the last line there. So that. So we just added 1 to both sides. We got x equals 1 plus or minus square root of 2, and that's our 2 solutions. 1 plus radical 2, 1 minus radical 2. Okay, in the next video we'll talk about why this is important. What's the point of completing the square?